All right, Pouring Nation, you know that I love to save money and I love to make amazing art. And I think you can do both at the same time. So 2 weeks ago, I did a comparison between a bunch of different glues for acrylic paint pouring. And one of the glues, I made a mistake and forgot to put the silicone in. That was Elmer's school glue, but it made amazing cells and amazing lacing. And I really liked how it looked. So I thought, well, maybe this would work with the Shelly Art Blooms technique. And so we're gonna see if we can't create the cheapest Shelly Art Blooms possible. So my pouring medium, 60% Elmer's glue, 40% water. I actually started with 70-30 and then I had to add some more water. So 60% Elmer's glue, 40% water. It is mixed 1-to-1 with my Artist Loft metallic paint. I have red, purple, and cobalt blue. My cell activator is 10 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint, and it's Blick titanium white paint. This is not very thin, but it leaves a tiny mound and immediately disappears. These colors leave a pretty significant mound, and one of the odd things about the school glue is it kind of clumps together. It's more like paste, not even paste, it's more like slime than pouring medium, but it's thicker than the bloom. And then the paint, it's just Satin ColorPlace classic interior paint from Walmart. I actually put it in this container because it's easier to use, but that's it. This ought to be the cheapest Shelly Art Blooms that you can do, and I hope I get the same results that I got from the glue roundup that I did a few weeks ago, which I will link in the description below. All right, so how we're going to do this, I'm going to put my colors over here, and we're going to start with this one. We're going to put a nice helping of the paint there. Maybe push it out just a little bit more. I want to make sure my pillow stays intact. And I'm not going to worry about bubbles here. I'm just doing a quick experiment. So to that effect, so that paint is slightly bubbling up above the other paint, so it's not pushing it down. It's kind of making a mound there, which is a good sign. I'm going to take just a little bit of this. Don't need too much. And then the secret here is to blow down a little bit to get it into the paint and then off to the side. So as you can see, we didn't get quite as much cells as I was hoping for there. So the first thing we're going to change is add a tiny bit more white to our paint. All right, so now my white mixture is 1 part paint to 5 parts Floetrol. And we're going to do the same thing. Again, I only want to change one little thing so that I know what is moving the needle. If I change too many things at once, then I never find out what I did right or what I did wrong. All right, so that didn't move the needle much at all. So now we're going to make the paint a little bit thinner. All right, so now my paint is barely a mound and disappears. So I added probably 5 grams of water. So let us do the test again. also a fail. I got a little bit more lacing here where I blew out quite a bit, but not what I want. So another test. Let's try the glue mixture with white. All right, now for the last experiment, we have, this is 1 part paint, 1 part glue, and then water to consistency. So we have no Floetrol now in our mixture. Well, what do you know? All right, so the cells came up amazing. When I tilted, they became off kilter, and it kind of got rid of my white in the center. But I think that works, so we're gonna scrape these and try one more time. All right, so we're just gonna do those all together. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this than last time. So it is a good sign when you start to get the halo around your white there. All right, I think our experiment was a resounding success. We have multiple colors. If you look in there, multiple color cells. The white seems to be holding. We have the dark cells, the light cells. This is where I blew a little bit slower, and I think that actually was kind of cool. But guys, this is essentially an all glue paint blooms. Wow. All right, so it's been about half an hour, and these are still keeping their shape. The white is falling through the other paint like it normally does and allowing the edges of the cells to turn the colors of the different paint, like this blue and red here. I really think this might be the cheapest way you can do acrylic paint blooms with Shelly Art. Now, one thing I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I was using acrylic titanium white. That's not the case. It was Amsterdam titanium white. So I think with the tile, the cost of the tile, These are coming out to be like $1.50 maybe a piece, depending on how expensive, how many tiles you get and how expensive they are. But this is a really cheap way to do the Shelly blooms without the need of any special ingredients. Definitely give her a whirl. Let me know in the comments below. Alright, Pouring Nation, we are back. It's been about 24 hours and I want to show you the dried results. Now, one thing you will notice is of the 4 that I did of the second batch, after we did some changes to that batch, 3 of these actually got cracks and crazes. And the reason being is I blew way too hard. I kind of pushed the pillow paint and let the other paint gather with the pillow paint kind of on the sides, and that caused it to crack and craze, and we don't want to do that. The other thing that I experienced is on the very sides, the paint started to kind of separate, which I've seen even with other pouring mediums that people use with the bloom technique. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So first, just a quick overview. They dried pretty similar to how they were poured. They look pretty good. But let me show you some of the details here. So on this one, you can see how the colors are starting to separate, and I think that's because I blew too hard and left some of that a little bit too thick. Then on this one, oh, I really love that piece there, but again, in the center, it's starting to break up. Again, but because I think it's because I just blew too hard. I was too vigorous in what I was doing. This one, I got some pretty nice cells. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to look as good as using the pigments and the really high quality pouring medium, but you can definitely get some beautiful results without spending a lot of money. So this is the one that I blew on nice and slowly, and it worked out fabulously. I did not have this on my Lazy Susan, so I couldn't spin it out, and I didn't stretch it. And this is what I was talking about on the edge, because that did happen on the very edge. So I will use the Lazy Susan next time, but for all of you out there wanting to do paint blooms, this is definitely an alternative you can use